Hey there, YouTubers. Right, so in this video we're going to replace the Vitro U6 Pro that I just put on here. Sadly, it's not really up to the task. While you can run this thing at idle, play some games with it, it's really not up to the hardcore stuff that I hope to do with it on this channel. It's unfortunate. Temperatures get up there a bit and it ends up rebooting the computer, so it's got to go. With it, we're going to replace it with a Noctua NH-D15S, and I've got a couple of Noctua fans. Hopefully one of these will fit, even though obviously black with the tan and brown isn't the best way to go. But what I don't think we have, folks, is the directions for AMD. You know, this is mainly a Intel channel, so the mere fact that that's pretty much all we do with these coolers. I'm hoping I have all the parts. I have so many Noctua coolers, so for lucky, one of the other direction sets will be similar. One thing we need is a really long Phillips head screwdriver, so let me go grab that. Alright, so yeah, this Vitro U6, pretty nice cooler, has RGB. It looked pretty sweet on here. If this is a 5600X, it would do the job. If it was i9 10900F, it'd do the job. If it was probably even my i9 9900K, i7 10700K, it would do the job. This is just one of those CPUs that requires a little more. Which I'm also wondering, 12th gen, what kind of headaches I'm going to have there. Yeah, I only have so many of these big Noctua coolers. Got a lot of other crappy ones, but hopefully we won't need anything too massive. And I'm thinking this would probably be okay with the i5 12600K, the Vitro, so we will use this again at some point. I'm not sure what we're going to put it on, but I tell you, I did have to crank this thing down quite a bit. It originally wasn't making good contact. And eventually we resolved that. But you can just tell the Noctua beefier. Does it have more surface area? I believe it does. It's wider, deeper. The fans are better, most likely. At least, you know, that's what everybody says. Noctua makes the best fans. And of course, adjusted stuff in the BIOS. Alright, so we gotta clean that up. So we had a pretty good spread. I'm gonna clean this up, and then I gotta get the wrench too for this. Alright folks, our 5800X is cleaned up. Now we've got to take these 4 nuts off, which is going to take a little while. I'll start it, but I'm not going to bore you guys with 5 minutes of me doing that. Now back in the day when I needed more watch hour on the channel, I might have done that, but not now. Obviously, you know, if we wanted to speed this up, we would get a socket wrench out. That actually came off really quick, so you know, it's weird, it took me forever to put these on and they come off so easy. Hopefully I won't lose these parts. I guess, you know, I lied. I'm gonna keep filming. So this had its own backing plate, Intel style, or Intel setting basically, and an AMD. And of course this was set up for AMD. And I did like the design for the most part. Alright, so that's what that backing plate looked like. Let me get all the parts. You always want to either throw these back in the box right away, including the screwdriver, not screwdriver, but the little wrench for a later time. Alright, so here is an AMD backing plate, and voila, that's in there. And I don't know if I showed you guys this, if I won't drop it on the motherboard. That's our CPU cooler. And obviously we want to orient it this way. Actually, that's a good question. So we need to take a look at which way the fan is actually blowing. So we'll do that. Alright, so you can see, if you look through here, I'm not going to pull it out. This is the intake side, and this is the exhaust side, which the exhaust side has the structures that hold the fans in place in the center. So, so what do we want though, folks? We want cool air coming from this way out the back, right? So this needs to be our orientation. Alright, so we've got that decided. Now, here's the box, and I have used this on Intel already. Let's go back a second. AMD, so we need those parts right there. And we've got to make sure that we grab the right spacers. I can't even see what that part is right there. We might be in trouble, folks. So this still has both of these in it. And you know, to be honest with you, I actually thought it would be smarter. It looks like those are the right ones. It would be smarter if yours truly went with an even bigger Noctua cooler. So it looks like we'll use these again. And I'm assuming, here's where our problem is going to be, folks, is which one of these we're supposed to use. Oh, guess what? We're in luck. This is from a different model, NHD14. So, if we look at this model, it has dark gray is for AM4. So if we're lucky, folks, and it says right there gray, if we're lucky, these are the right ones. If we're not lucky, these are the wrong ones. Alright. Now the problem is, what is this gonna, what part are we missing here? We need these screws, it would appear. So it looks like we can drop them in. And now, you know, like I said, I could do this blindfolded if it was for Intel. And maybe one day I will make a video of me doing it blindfolded. But you just change one little thing like this and oh my god. Alright, so there's parts in here that, thank God we keep this stuff. Alright, so we got that. Now I need to find all the screws. So I'm looking through the box, folks. You guys don't really need to probably want to see that part. Alright, I think we have everything. Let's hope, including a used thing of Noctua paste. Alright, so these guys, the brackets, you see the standoffs. I call them spacers, but directions refer to them as standoff, I believe. Nope, no, Noctua does call them spacers. It was V-True and some other companies call them standoffs. So that should be what we need. In case, no, it doesn't really say exactly the size. Okay. So the first thing we need to do, folks, is figure out the orientation. And it would appear we need to come in this way. Alright. So, do I like the way this is set up for AMD? No. This design, I gotta say, actually, AMD is such a pain in the ass as far as CPU coolers go, where Intel is so much easier. Like I've never ripped a CPU out with the cooler on the way out. That amazes me, like when that happens. Alright, so did we screw up, folks? No. So we're going to tighten this down. And it appears those we were in the right holes. So later, let's hope that we don't have to move this, right? No. This is going to work. Gotta have confidence. So, you know, in case you don't have the directions, you potentially could put the thermal paste on now, but what I have learned is, oh, how many times you accidentally touch it and then you get thermal paste all over the place. So you should wait until we're done with this part before you put thermal paste on. And then try and get these to screw in by hand. You don't want to cross thread these. Alright, so once you get a few threads on, and grab your Phillips, of course a much smaller Phillips at this point instead of the one that I needed, but alright. So nothing like rework, folks. That's one thing, you know, as an engineer, I hate rework. I done this right the first time. We're, you know, we could be gaming right now. Instead, we're making videos. So, I mistakenly grabbed these. It does not look like we need these at all for AMD. Okay, this is for the Intel build. Throw that back in there. Alright, now, we've talked orientation. And this even shows you if you wanted to add another fan, which I'm going to do. There you see the flow intake. The structure is on the back side. Normally they, a lot of times you don't even see arrows, which is just crazy. I can throw that back in the box too. Alright. So Noctua usually tells you on their directions how much of this to put on there. 4 to 5 millimeter diameter, right? So you just kind of eyeballing that. Now I like to put, you know, glob there. So there is a certain part area of the CPU really that it matters more than other. Is that enough? Eh, it may or may not be. I'm an Intel guy, so you guys can go give me your comments. Should I use more thermal paste? Should I have used less? Less is not a good idea, right? You want to be close. Either on the money or close. You don't want to be significantly less. Otherwise you're going to deal with heating issues. And wow, this is not set up good. So let's move this out of the way. And I think we have to, yeah, we have to access our screws. So this has got to come out. And so now it doesn't matter how we put this on, right? There's only two ways it can go on, and it's going to look the same. Some of these you'll realize have RAM clearance. They're off center. In this case, these are not off center. So, and a lot of times it's good to put your RAM in ahead of time, right? So this is the position for the RAM on this motherboard. If you have two sticks. So you can see by that it would be hard to get the RAM in if I didn't have it in already. Alright. So this is another one of those places where they could design this a little better to make it easier to line up the holes, but it looks like we're on the money. Well, at least on one side we are. Yeah, there we go. So just get a few threads on one side, work your way back and forth, and yeah, I'm definitely liking this cooler. Now, why didn't I go with this cooler first? Well, to be honest with you, I wanted to try the other one out, see if it was able to support the 5800X. Found out relatively quick it is not. Now, why haven't I taken that video down? That's a good question. That's coming in the future, folks. If I determine that the CPU cooler makes a difference, then yeah, we'll be taking it down. If this CPU cooler does not make a difference, you guys probably never see this video. Alright, so orientation, we want to make sure this is coming out this side. And this is, what is this, a 12 millimeter fan? Or 120 millimeter fan. It honestly looks really dinky in here, folks. That doesn't even look like the right fan. But the brackets don't lie. And I'd have to find the box. Actually, oh, you know what? This is for the NHD14. So let's do this. Since this is basically, I think, the same thing, just one fan less, and they charge you a shit ton more for the other one. We're gonna go this way. All right. Now we have we have two of these to pick from: black and tan. If I had another black 120, I would just put that in the front. And to be quite honest with you, I'm going to go see if I have one real quick. Alright, so there's our fan in there. So yeah, the real reason I guess I didn't use this CPU cooler to start with is I was holding back for the holding back to use it with 12th gen. Alright, so we also have this guy. which is redux. And then we have another redux. So I could actually use both of these, folks. These might be just these case fans. So these are 140 millimeter, and I don't have the brackets with them. And it looks like I have two of the same. So we won't use those. Yeah, these are exactly the same. One's 1500, 900. So yeah, these probably aren't going to be good for this. Alright, so it looks like this is the way we're going, folks. Now orientation again. And we have this backwards. Great. Alright. Intake side. It's on the wrong side. Which is good, because you guys probably didn't even see me assemble it. Alright. So, we want to put this on this side. There we go. And then that means this guy here and now I'm making sure that my cable is up underneath it, running across. Now if it was worthwhile, I could stick a third fan on this thing. Well, this does not want to fit, folks, because of that cable. There we go. Alright. And snap those on. Now, this thing's heavy. So we have our two connectors. We need this splitter gizmo here, okay? So I've got to take this off. Alright, back this up a little. One of these days I'm going to get a monitor so I can see exactly what you guys see. And boom. And then this one only has one CPU fan header, so hence why it's good that they gave you this splitter. And then we of course would tie that off if we had it in a case. In my case, we'll probably just hide it somewhere. Hope it doesn't melt or burn up. So there we go for now, folks. Now I will put in the gaming videos, I'll change the name of which CPU cooler is what for the gaming. I can already tell this looks like it's going to make a difference. The only thing I might do differently, I might replace this with a 140 millimeter fan, even if it's this black one. Now it's going to look stupid, but that is a hell of a lot bigger fan, right? Will it make a difference? I don't know. You know, it all, if any of you have had heat transfer or fluid dynamics, or just no flow, the formula for it, Q equals mass times velocity, right? So mass, of course, is the air, and then whatever basically your speed of this guy is, what it's turning. So you can figure out your airflow, but I believe Noctua gives you all that information. So this spinning at the same speed as a 120 millimeter fan, there's much more airflow, right? If I were to find out what the speed of this guy is in relation to this one, And is it on here anywhere? It is not. I always wondered how much these fans use. It's right there. So yeah, I could get this. I'll have to get this information. The other fans obviously had it on the outside, so. But yeah, we may switch this out. Will it make much of a difference? Probably not. Now we'll have the fan profile cranked because I don't care about noise. You guys might, but I gotta make my videos. All right. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Actually, I do care about noise. But that's the finished product, folks. Thank you. Please like, please subscribe.